I got a question for you guys. Who at this point in time is our player of the season? Because me and Sim were talking about this the other day, and we're like, someone in the comments just cancel the player of the season award this year. Forms, who do you think it is, player of the season?
There's only two options for me, and that's Bergval and Spence.
No, Decky.
I would agree with that as well.
I love him to bits, and he is our most creative player on his day. And I think that a Tottenham without Kulusevski is clueless. But I think in terms of, I want to say impact, I think when I'd say the majority of games that Spence has played, whether he started or he's come off the bench, he's made an impact that we've needed a player to make in that area. And because we're so reliant on the left back and the right back to play pretty much every position, I think Spence does it with such confidence, and he's not afraid when he's going to chase a man who's on the ball. He's not afraid when he's on the ball and he's got a man chasing him. There's no fear. And I think we're lacking that with a lot of the positions that we've got. There's sometimes this cluelessness on and off the ball for a lot of the players in a lot of positions. And I won't single them out because we all know we've seen us play this season. But Spence isn't that player. And I think that to build a team, not necessarily around Jed Spence, but to build a team where a player like Spence is at the core, I think you're kind of setting up to improve massively. And then you look at Bergval, and I choose Spence over Bergval, but you look at Bergval and some games he's generational, but other games
he's our best player at the moment, like clearly.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like he knows what to do, where to be, and the energy that he brings off the bench in particular just infects the rest of the team, and that's what you need. But if you're talking about the whole season, there have been games like early Europa League games, for example, where his head might not have been in it, or he's made certain mistakes. And I don't think he's been as consistent as he has been throughout the whole season. The last few months, 100%. I think he's learned to adapt very quickly to the physicality of English football in the Premier League. And he is an absolute game changer. But I think for me, it's Jed Spence.
Wow.
I think
it's mad though, it's mad though, isn't it? Because you've got Brennan Johnson, right, who's our top goal scorer this year. You've got Sonny, who's got most goal contributions this year, and nobody would ever mention these two players. When then you got Bergval, who really came to life, second half of the season, Jed Spence as well around December time. We've had no one that's actually been consistent through the whole course of the season, have we?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with Kulu. You saw it for I just wish he never gave that interview where he said, "I don't get tired."
He's been tired ever since.
It was like, oh my God. It just, boom. It's shocking for it. I think there's a thing with Kulu where it's a positional thing in Spurs, where with Conte, he was on the wing and he had a lot of assists. He scored goals and stuff. Ange came in and he just didn't like the way he would cut back because it was too obvious, and he was trying to do the same thing all the time. The style of play didn't really work to how Decky wanted to build up. And I don't think the easy fix is just, bring him in centrally, let him play as a 10. If you ever watch him, so you can see around this time he's had complete indecision about his position where he picks up the ball. There's a classic game, I think Mikey Moore starts and he's on the right, and the whole game Decky's just getting in the way of the lining of the pass to Mikey Moore. And Mikey Moore, you can see, is just kind of like, what's going? At one point, he even intercepts a ball that's being passed to Mikey Moore. Decky intercepts it because he's in the wrong line. It's like you're supposed to either go round or come inside to put him through. And so he wasn't getting that 10 or the two 10s, you know? So I feel like there was so much indecision. Then I think he felt so much pressure of saying to people, because he had these amazing performances where he literally won the games, like almost himself. There was that game with Decky and Solanke against City. They did it themselves. Those two players just run the game. They run themselves dead. At the end of the game, they dropped down. The difference is Solanke didn't go over and say, I never get tired. He was on the floor being tired. Decky gets up, I've got to go give an interview. I never get tired. And from that, it's like he was just gone. His legs didn't work. Every time the ball came to him after that, almost like so many games, you were just like, Decky's losing the ball here. He's getting shoved off the ball. And he would just get shoved off the ball. He had nothing left in his body. If he could have sustained that 5 or 6 games where he looked world class, he looked genuinely like this could be one of the best players he's played for in a long time. If he could have sustained that, like, sure, but he just dropped off a cliff. Bergval, on the other hand, every time he steps on the pitch, if we're in a situation, the whole team looks like they're different players around him. His shoulders are always in the direction Ange always wants them to go. He always picks up the ball and turns like this. He moves the ball quicker. He has more energy. He ignites everything around him. He'll put beautiful balls through the line. He has got what it takes. But I also feel like Jed Spence, how many times do I sit in the games and go, what a player. Like, he can be pressed by 3 guys and not lose the ball. Like, he'll just hold them off, so strong, just controlling the ball with his feet, and he'll still retain the ball. The crazy thing between Bergval and Spence, they both had moments where they kind of feel like they've shat the bed. Spence with the ball over that he didn't track back, and Sessegnon puts it top corner. You know, he just kind of looked like he was like, nah. You know, there's a couple moments where he's just kind of been like, nah, look like he can't be arsed. And then Bergval as well, the kind of mistakes hitting, unfortunate hitting the ball off people, running straight into a player. You know, so they've both had wobbles, but I think the two of them, I don't think you can compare those two with anyone else. Bentancur's had shades in games where he's like, oh my God, Bentancur's having a match here. But those two, look, they've been consistently. It'd be really interesting to see who a whole fan base thought was like the better. Like,
I reckon Decky's going to get it. You know, I think Decky's going to get it.
Just for that patch,
just for that beginning of start of the season, and then he went off the boil and then got injured and whatever, and now he's back. But I feel like Decky is going to... I don't think Decky deserves to get it, but I think he will get it.
I think up until January, he was our best... I think up until January, he was definitely by far and away our best player. Like, not even close to anyone. And then between January and February, or when did he get injured? He got injured in just the... So
his levels dropped dramatically
mid-February. So I'd say in between January, by far our best player. Then for about 6 weeks, he dropped off the boil, and then
it looked like he was carrying for a while. I think he was carrying something for a while.
If he can return to a bit of form between now and the end of the season, I think he would deserve it. I think he would deserve our Player of the Year, just because I do think he was pretty good, pretty great, I would say, between the start of the season and January. But he did have a 6-week period where he really did drop off the boil and wasn't even in that period. He would like not play well, but he would find a moment of magic where it'd be like an assist or something. Usually, where he'd usually end up with a goal contribution, but we could see he wasn't really playing well. That was a thing. But I think since Bergval's coming to the team, I think it was a Rangers game, wasn't it, in December, where he kind of got an appearance and he started his first game against Southampton in the Premier League. For then, he's been, for me, by far away our best player. By far. I know Spencer's been good, but I think Bergval just literally hasn't had a bad game, I think, in that time. And I completely agree with Brains when he says he completely changes the way he basically gives everyone else energy, doesn't he? You can see all of a sudden players are running more. The way he glides past people, I don't see many Premier League players doing that, especially him doing that at a young age as he's doing it at 19, is absolutely incredible. His physicality is what's impressed me the most. I think technically we saw in pre-season what he's all about. Pirouettes, his unbelievable passing range, all these different things. He's got unbelievable skills, but he's really bulked up and built himself. Like, he doesn't get bullied off the ball at all. In fact, you see when as soon as he knocks it past a player, the player can't keep up. The player can't keep up with him. Every time he's shoving him off the ball, he's getting round and he's getting on the end of things and all of a sudden starting moves. And you can see his long-range efforts. He's starting to get closer and closer to getting to scoring one of those as well. He keeps hitting the woodwork. But it's about how he sets the tone, how he sets the pace of the game. He's unbelievable, a good tempo control. It's something incredible. He knows when to slow it down and speed up. And the game intelligence is something I haven't seen from such a young player, I think, for a very long time.
He's got such Moussa Dembele potential that it makes me so happy. Like when someone talks about not being able to get the ball off him and his technical ability, and he can drive the ball forward and he's getting closer to putting his shots on target, I'm like, we've got another one.
Forms. I don't want to go overboard, but I think he's a cross between Dembele and Modric.
I'm so with you. Just give him time. Don't put pressure on him. Just give him time.
But have we seen a teenager come into the team like this and have an impact like this since Dele Alli? Literally since Dele Alli, like, what an impact.
And this is the team that's not playing well. Yeah. And he kind of makes all these older players and lifts the head of, like, I've seen moments where he's come on and, like, even Sonny kind of starts all of a sudden going, oh, this is the run I'm supposed to make, and then Sonny makes a run, and it's like, but that's the thing with older players, their heads do drop, and they do they're laden with trauma of like, oh, we've been here before, where he's just got this like attitude, and he's like, give me the ball, I love when he goes down for the keep, he's like, give me the, and he's like, that for a young player, that's huge, man, to like go in the Premier League, to one of the toughest leagues. How many players have we signed who just don't really show that they've got anything? And this guy comes from Sweden, and he's just like, give me the ball, bang, turns, and he tries something. I don't care if sometimes you see little ball runs away because he's kind of young, and he's got a lot of energy, and so you will lose the ball. I don't care about that. I just love seeing him want to get the ball again. He wants to get it, what I mean? It's like, that's like super impressive.
It's such a silver lining, the injury crisis that we've had this season. And Ange even said it in pretty much every one of his pre and post match press conferences. He's like, the goodness we're going to see come out of this from the likes of Gray and Bergval and the ones that got thrown into, maybe they season and net.
Forms, I think you're losing connection there a bit.
Sorry, oh no, you're back. Are you back?
I don't know. You're moving very slightly.
Hang on. Sorry, I'm gonna switch out.
Yeah. Try reconnecting. Just quickly come off and come back in.
But basically, what he's saying is that Bergval's fucking amazing. That's what.
Translation: Bergval for tits.
Yeah, so I think we could safely say that Bergval probably should win Player of the Year just for the impact that he's had on the team, and it's just unbelievable to see what he does week in, week out, and when he's not playing. All I'm thinking of was when's Bergval coming on? When's Bergval on? We need Bergval to come on. We need to up the tempo of the game. Get Bergval on. And in the game against Forest, I was so disappointed that we only brought him on with 5-10 minutes to go because it was calling out for him. But you did feel
that vibe, right?
He did. 10 minutes. He was our best player. He comes on for 10 minutes and he's our best player.
Yeah.
It's great.
Like, you're back, by the way.
You're back. You're good.
Okay. I just got so excited about whatever it was we were talking about.
No, so your internet couldn't even handle the Bergval excitement.
You were saying, so we lost you when you said Ange has been saying in his press conferences about the growth we've been having, and then we lost you.
Yeah, it's going to be class because you have players who, literally like Bergval, who came in and we saw maybe not the physicality that he needed. But because he was forced to play week in, week out, whether it be appearances or starts at one point, and it was just non-stop, because he was just really meant to be a Europa League player and help us in the cups a little bit. Same with Gray. To watch them have to go through what they did in terms of physically take their bodies to the limit, but also be off the back of 1,000,001 defeats where we were only losing games by 1 goal and winning them by way more than 1 goal. So to have that the mental experience of losing a bunch of games in a team with such high expectations, and to also put their bodies through their absolute limits, I think is only going to benefit them. Pre-season's going to be a walk in the park for players like Bergval and Gray, and then they'll be much more heavily relied on players from early on in the season rather than, oh God, we got to throw these boys in. Are they ready? This season, for all the bad that it's been, we're going to see some proper goodness from it. And I think also in terms of, we talk about lack of leadership, and even in Spence's interview or podcast that he did with Rio, where he goes, who are the leaders? And he went, I mean, I was surprised he didn't mention Kulusevski or Vicario or anyone, but it doesn't matter. The fact that there's been a conversation of lack of leadership, I think you look at these youngsters that have been forced into these situations and seen how, especially if we do win the Europa League, and I know I keep pinning things on it, but if we do, it's going to be even more beneficial, because to watch a team go through what we went through, to then pick ourselves back up week in, week out, whether the performances have been like that or not, they've still gone out onto the pitch and they've tried to perform, to pull themselves out of the pits and to go and potentially achieve something, or even start believing that they can achieve something at the end of the season. that's just only gonna like align them to be leaders in 2, 3, 4 years to come. And regardless of whether they play for Tottenham or whoever it is that they're playing for in a couple of years' time, they'll be in with shouts for captain's armbands in their early 20s, and that's all off the back of this season. So yes, it's been really, really abysmal, but what we're going to see long term from it, I know it's a great thing that Daniel Levy likes to say, it's all for the future, but this is actually for the future.
Everything's always for the bloody future of this football club. When are we going to have for the now?
Except this time they mean it.
The now doesn't exist. There is no present. There's only a future.
I'd be interested to know what the narrative around Lucas Bergval is from outside of Tottenham, because I mean, we've all been guilty of, overhyping our players here and saying they're the dog's bollocks and all that, and they're going to be an unbelievable player. But does anyone know, like, what is the true narrative of Lucas Bergval outside of Tottenham?
Every time I've been around like my football teams or whatever, like, that's the one guy they go, oh, he's unreal. Like we were in the pub for one of the games we just played, and then we were all around, and it's like a mashup of like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United fans, and every time he got the ball, they were like, this guy's unreal. So I think it is quite universal. I've seen videos of other, non-Spurs fans making videos about him, like, this guy's like unreal, like, I just think, like, can you imagine if that shot against Frankfurt in the first leg went in?
Yeah.
I think we'd be seeing that, like, we still watch the Gaza against Arsenal. Obviously it was a massive game, but like, we'd be seeing that for years, like.
I still watch it every day.
He's saving it for Bilbao. You just wait.
Yeah, he and also he has this unbelievable ability, like Forms was saying, like Dembele did, where it seems as though from any situation he can just get the ball forward and drive the ball forward somehow. He never goes backwards, it seems.
You know why that is? Ali McCoy said it perfectly, and I don't know if it was the Rangers game. It was like, he was like, this kid, he was like, the space he makes when he goes to get the ball, he does this thing which is classic. If he's near a player, he pushes off the player, so pushes him away space, right? Gets the ball, looks to turn, but he kind of goes that way. Even if he's not got players around him, he drops shoulder to create. So his brain is all about make more space for myself. Because in his space, then you can look up, and then, and with space around him, all his players around him can find their space, So to have that intelligent of spatial awareness at that age is. And it was amazing that someone like McCoy he's like, look at the space he creates for himself every time he gets the ball. That's not something that players learn that young, especially in a heightened, top levels. And people said that he was in Sweden. That was what they said. Sweden, the leagues aren't. You're not going to get that space. I remember people were saying you're not going to get space. Watch how he struggles when he comes here. And yet he does that. He creates his space.
But he did struggle. It was adjustment period, wasn't it? For the first few months. And once he adjusted,
I do remember him doing that kind of thing earlier. I remember in the pre-seasons how much he would stand and then come look, and he would do like a one touch, and he was doing it more with touches. He'd pass the ball, then create a space. Where now he kind of like bang goes, takes a touch, he does this little spin, and he looks to. And he goes into the space that's around him, and it almost makes the space that he's in look magnified. And that's just very clever. You don't see that very often,
So I think key takeaway from this segment is Bergval is the dog's bollocks, basically.